Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with a Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. And on this episode, we're going to be recapping Southern Charm, and then at the end, we'll get into some updated Bravo Tea of all the craziness that I feel like has been happening. I am really excited because for my next episode that I'll be actually recording today, I'm going to have Donna Bowling on, and we're going to get into all things Bravo. I have a lot of questions to ask her. I'm so excited. So I originally first heard her on Zach Peter, No Filter with Zach Peter. And I was like, oh, she seems so nice and fun. So I reached out to her on Instagram, and she said she's going to come on the pod. So I'm super excited. That will be my next episode that I get out after this. And then me and the Bravo babe are going to do our monthly check-in again. We have so much to discuss because she was actually at Tom Sandoval's show, and Victoria Lee Robinson was sitting with her, and Tom did a whole shout out to her and was like, oh, we got Christina from the Bravo babe over there. So I can't wait to get into all of that with her, discuss all the things, ask her about her opinion about all of this Tom and Victoria nonsense, which we'll talk about after we recap Southern Charm. So let's just get into it, since I feel like I'm releasing this recap of Southern Charm a little late. But Shep is informing us that he has a girlfriend a lot younger than him, not a shocker. He is basically trashing on the comparison of her and Taylor, though, saying she's a model and that she went to medical school and that she just has a lot more going on than Taylor.
Dude, stop acting like you're the number one guy in this group, man. I'm the number one guy in this group.
I mean, Shep, really? Like, you have room to talk. He has no job and lives off of his trust fund. So the fact that he's saying Taylor has nothing going on, Taylor has a job. I'm not sure if she has the same job that she always has had, but she's a working girl and she's not relying on Southern Charm as the paycheck. But then Taylor is telling us about her man, Gaston, who is actually on Southern Hospitality. I do not watch that. Christina from the Bravo Babe told me I do have to get into it. And now that Vanderpump Rules is like recasting, maybe I will dig my teeth into Southern Hospitality, because she said it's very old, like Vanderpump Rules-esque. So I'm liking that. She is saying that her and Gaston's relationship is more like a partnership, though. So they're only a couple years apart. And she said, since we're closer in age, this is just why it feels more like a partnership. Her parents have been asking her and talking to her if they have talked about marriage. And Shep actually then has the nerve to say that Taylor's parents miss them being together, and the grandparents. He said her parents and grandparents wish she was still with me. Pretty sure you're the only one that thinks that, Shep, because I don't know why her whole family would want her to stay with you when you like made her cry countless times on TV. Just the reruns were on like the other day. And it was when he said, yes, sometimes it was fun cheating on you. And she threw the red wine at him at his house. And I mean, that was just so mean. And it was on camera. I mean, when we see these people be at their worst on camera, just remember what's happening off camera. So I'm pretty sure her parents are the opposite of what you're thinking. I'm sure they're tickled to death she's with someone else. They probably did have the only reservation I could see her parents having about Gaston is that, oh no, it's another reality TV person. Even though Taylor's on reality TV as well, they're probably just like, well, we know how it went with Shep. Are you sure this is okay? And I feel like it's different because, like she said, they're closer in age and they're actually not on the same show, which sometimes these people, I think them being on the same show and being in the drama together is worse. Like, I think, for example, Kyle and Amanda always are having a rough time on Summer House. And I think it's because they also like make them. The producers like want them to have drama in the relationship, but that's not healthy for real life. It's good for us to watch, but not good for these people. Then JT is just telling his mom about cane gate. That's what I'm referring to it as. Him handing out all those old people canes, and Miss Pat was going to shove it up his butt, as she said. He's acting like it's not a big deal, but it's like obviously is, and it's gonna like be a dark cloud all season. And I feel like that's why JT is gonna end up quitting. But I think we can obviously see why he's gonna end up quitting. Nobody likes him except Vanita, which is weird. Still don't understand that. But then we get Molly like stepping into her apartment. It's a little crowded, a little more crowded than what I thought it would be. She's a golden doodle though, so I just perked right up and I was like, "Welcome to the club, girl. Best doggies ever." So she's informing us that when she was younger, she played the mini tuba because she was too short to play a regular size tuba. But then obviously she had her Grossberg because she's very tall and she was modeling. So then she was just saying how she was doing the whole modeling thing, but then her parents are older. So she wanted to move back to Charleston. And she's actually adopted, but was adopted like at birth. So she said she was a couple days old and they adopted her. They're both attorneys. And she said she's just so blessed to have them. But she said with her weight fluctuating also that it was just best she kind of stepped away from modeling. I mean, she's still skinny. So I would hate to see what she looked like. She said 25 pounds. I was like, where? In your toe? I mean, like I said previously, the modeling industry is cutthroat. They probably make you feel bad all the time. And she physically can't help it. She has the thyroid condition. But I think Molly is a good addition. I am sad, like I said, that we're not getting Olivia. I don't really care about Taylor, even though it's going to be interesting to see her and Shep kind of this season because he just thinks she's crying in a closet over him. And she's like, actually, I'm like getting it on every day with Gaston and not thinking about you at all. She pretty much mentioned that as well. I forgot to say in her confessional that he satisfies her because remember last season, we heard that she was very disappointed in that with Shep. She could only count on maybe one hand every time she had a pleasurable time, which that's pretty bad for how long they dated. So I'm really excited to get to know Molly more. And I think it's fun that she knows Craig with the sexting drama. And then I think it's good that Madison has a friend ally. But Madison and Brett are making breakfast with her son, and we find out that Brett overcame thyroid cancer and they removed it and he was cancer free, but now he's having complications. And I feel so bad for them. She's like, why is this happening? I finally am happy. And then this happens. So he's having like trouble swallowing. He said it basically feels like a marble. So praying for them. She said on Instagram after the episode came out that everyone was sending her messages and that they're just taking it day by day and he is doing well. But it has to be scary when they say you're cancer free, but then this happens. But I am now understanding why, not to be insensitive, but I was wondering why she wasn't pregnant. I was thinking she was having complications getting pregnant because last season she's like, oh, we're going to start trying. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they're not having complications, which side note, I feel like lots of people modern day are having complications getting pregnant. I just listened to a whole episode. Jillian Michaels was on Melissa Gorga's podcast. Great listen if you love to listen about vitamins and health and conspiracy theories kind of. So Craig is probably on it with Paige. But she said a lot of people are struggling nowadays with the fertility and it kind of traces to, what we're putting in our body, the food, the vitamins, the stuff we think is good, but it's really not. So we really have to be reading and paying attention and caring more. And I'm glad to hear that it's not because Madison's having fertility issues. She said this is basically why it's on pause because of the cancer, which I get. But she said every day she could just be like triggered about something. And when somebody does say, oh, are you guys trying? It just makes her sad and think about the thyroid cancer in Brett because I understand she doesn't want to put too much on their plate. And what if, God forbid, she did get pregnant, but then she's stressing out about this so much that something bad would happen. So hopefully when everything gets all settled and they feel good, because this is like 6 months ago, basically they filmed, hopefully in the new year, maybe we'll be seeing Madison having a baby. But then Craig, Shep, and JT go to this golf simulator place, and that they are making Craig and Shep go with JT and that Austen is not invited because they're going to talk about Austen, but not because Craig and Shep want to. JT thinks that Brett, so this is number one kooky conspiracy that JT thinks. He thinks Madison's Brett, is intimidated by him and is thinking that something happened between JT and Madison on the Jamaica trip because he's claiming that Brett FaceTimed JT with Madison there and asked what happened on the trip. Because if we remember, Madison like put on his shirt and was doing like an impersonation of him and drinking the beer off her shoulder because remember he was like putting that wine glass on his like bicep and drinking it. It was weird. He's a weird dude. And Craig and Shep are like, no, definitely don't think so. And he's like, no, Madison was just like in the background saying, okay, thanks, JT. Have a good day. Because he was like, no, nothing happened. I'm not doubting that there was like a FaceTime phone call, but I highly doubt it's because Brett thinks that Madison had a love affair with JT in Jamaica. I don't think anyone wants to have a love affair with JT, let alone Madison, who's married to Brett, whom not only does she seem very faithful to, but Brett is like 10 times hotter than JT. Obviously, the only one that wants to have a love affair with JT is Vanita, and we need to get her head checked on that. We don't know why. Conspiracy theory number 2. He also is thinking Austen and Madison purposely matched in their polka dot outfits for the Carolina Cup because they're having a secret love affair. And he is just taking conspiracy theories to a new height. I mean, Craig is like, his tinfoil hat has got nothing on JT's crazy theories. I mean, I don't know if JT is just saying all this because he doesn't really have a storyline. He knows people aren't really his friends. So this golf simulator outing is totally set up. It's not organic. He knows he has to talk shit kind of on people to get Craig and Shep even talking to him, I feel like. But then JT starts saying that he heard that Austen was dating other girls while he was with this girlfriend that we're seeing. We haven't met her yet, and I am wondering if she'll be on the season. Her name's Audrey. And Craig said, JT, you gotta stop. I can't be around you if you're going to talk about my friend. And then JT is trying to blame it all on Leva, saying that that's what she was saying on the bus on the way to the Carolina Cup, which I'm sorry, I'm like tongue-tied, which I do agree with JT in the smallest degree. Leva was bringing it up, but I feel like JT should have proposed it differently to Craig and Shep. I think Craig is mad that JT is saying it like this because he's saying it like he agrees. And that's what's making Craig mad. He should just say, oh my God, Leva said this about Austen on the bus. Can you believe that? And then let's see how Craig reacts. Like maybe then Craig would be like, oh, well, maybe it's true. Or, oh, I know it's true. Or, yeah, no, it's not true. But instead, JT just handed that janky gas station cane to Austen and called a truce. And Craig is like, what are you doing? Like, you need to stop because I just can't be around you. And then Craigie leaves because he said this is not healthy for him. And he's like, I'm just leaving because I don't want to be here anyway. He probably had a non-alcoholic beer on that counter and he's just pieced out. And Shep was like, you just put yourself right back into the weeds, JT. You need to stop doing this because this is why everyone's mad at you. This is why no one's friends with you. This is why, especially Craig. I mean, Craig can get mad at Austen and Austen can get mad at Craig, but JT can't get mad at Austen when they just had this blow up because they're not really friends. So it's not like the same type of thing. I just really honestly cannot wait until JT leaves and exits the show because I just feel like no one's going to miss him. I mean, am I right or am I right? I don't know. Austen is on his way to Craigie's house though. And he said Craig would rather garden than hang out with him. And he is doing well. So he's like, maybe I could get some pointers from Craig. But he's like, he thinks his shit don't stink and he's up his own ass because he thinks it doesn't stink. I get what Austen means. He's probably like, look, it's cool that you don't want to like drink Maker's Mark and be blacked out at the Southern Charm reunion anymore. But like, come and hang out with me. I get it. Instead, Craig would just rather tend to his backyard garden, which I'm jealous of his backyard. The backyard looks so nice, and we're going to see it more on the next episode too. And I saw the preview already today, and he was just saying, he built this sanctuary type backyard for him and Paige to just hang out at home because they just like to do that. And I'm sure it's nice for Paige, since she does live in the city, that when she comes down there, it is like a nice little like sanctuary for her to enjoy with Craigie. But Craig is grilling for him in Austen. And then, of course, Austen is drumming up the drama already. He is telling Craig about I'm sorry. Oh my God, total brain fart. Jeez. It's all this Christmas preparation. Craig is grilling for him in Austen. And then, Craig is telling Austen about JT gossiping about him. God, I feel like I had to say like all of their names in the same sentence over and over again. So Craig is basically impersonating Austen. JT. Oh my God. See, I'm like mixing them all up. And I feel like 100 people are texting me right now. But he is just saying how they did the simulator golf and that he just can't be friends with JT or in his presence if he's just going to keep gossiping about Austen. And he's like, oh, listen to these conspiracy theories he has about you and Madison with the polka dot pants. And then he said about JT, like, hooking up with Madison, and Austen is like, this guy is definitely off his rocker. He's high. He's crazy, mental. No one's going to miss him, honestly. So then Patricia has selected few for the Easter brunch. And I feel like this is like the core group. So we got Shep, we got Craig, we got Madison, and we got Molly. The only one that I feel like would have been there and he probably couldn't was Austen, because Patricia doesn't have a problem. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. Austen was there. Okay, so then this is definitely the core. So Vanita, JT, and Taylor were not there. So I feel like it's because she doesn't even like them, and possibly they're on the chopping block. JT, I think, got the hint that he was on the chopping block, and that's why he left the show. So he could say he left instead of getting fired. And I just don't see high hopes for Vanita, especially since all she did was cling on to JT. And Taylor is just like, whatever, like maybe she could go on Southern Hospitality. I just like don't care about her at all, her well-being, because of what she did to Olivia last season. That's just a no for me. And acting like Olivia was being a bitch. And it's like, no, actually, you're being horrific. And that's what I mean. When they were playing the reruns, I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know. It's just terrible that she did that. The Easter brunch looks lovely, but then Miss Pat is just talking to them all about JT, about the cane gift that he gave. And she's like, that was awful. And then Craig, loose lip Craig, Mr. I could be a housewife of Charleston Craig, is telling everyone that they went to the golf simulator place with JT and that he actually slipped up and called Miss Pat a bitch. And then Shep is just like not saying anything because then there was not even footage of him saying that. So this is JT's word against Craig's word. And Craig has said that he has never lied on the show. And then the producers do him dirty and do a whole compilation of Craigie lying or stretching the truth on the show. I mean, when he was all Adderalled up, skinny Craig sewing like he was all cracked out, trying to pass the bar. That's what they were saying. He fabricated like getting his license, taking the bar, and like all of that stuff. So Shep's like, I don't know if we could trust you, Craig. But I'm sure JT did either say, oh, she's being a bitch, or, oh, that was so bitchy of her. I'm sure he did say that. I don't know why. Like some people are like, oh, I don't know. I need to hear the audio. I'm going to trust Craig and go with that. And I think that's why JT left, because he was like scared of Miss Patch. Probably like, I will kill you and shove this cane up your butt if you call me that one more time. I had to take a little sip of water. So then we sit down at the Easter brunch. It's lovely. But you know what was not lovely? At the end, they're all eating the dessert. And Molly has the smart idea, which I've seen people do this. I don't do it, but it is very smart. They're having cupcakes. So if you take the bottom off and then kind of put it on the top and smush it down, it's like a cupcake sandwich. Because sometimes it's like you kind of take the first bites and all the icing comes off, and then you're just eating the like plain cupcake, which no one likes. Whitney literally was like, "Oh, Molly, you don't need that." I mean, what? He was like insinuating that Molly doesn't need to eat cupcakes and she's fat. And just minutes before that, she was talking about her thyroid issue and self consciousness of gaining weight. And it's like, Whitney, if she doesn't need to have cupcakes, you need to not have a facelift because he did something to his face. It's like when Mrs. Doubtfire, when they are trying to fit Robin Williams for the like old lady Mrs. Doubtfire mask, his brother pulls those strings and it like pulls his whole face back and up. And he's like, and you'll never see the strings under the wig. That's what Whitney looks like, except he doesn't have a wig. So he looks like a scary old lady. I mean, Molly could do so much better. We know that Whitney has a lot of money because Miss Pat is his mom and he's never been married and he doesn't have any kids. So he has a lot of money. But no, I'm not being with a 55-year-old man that is telling me I should not be eating a cupcake. I'll actually eat 10 cupcakes here. Even Austen, who is like a total douche last season, is redeeming himself because he went, Whitney. And everyone's like, no. And then Molly was like, I'm going to smack you. And then Miss Pat was like, I would allow it. And then to close it out, Miss Pat said, I've given up on grandkids. I think I'm just going to get a kitten because Whitney is her only child. So she has just probably thrown in the towel and lost hope because he's 55 also. I mean, we know he has young taste in ladies because the scary corpse bride that he brought to the Carolina Cup was 22, like fresh out of a college meeting, probably graduation. And Molly is 35, 36. So I'm 33. But I mean, he's like 55. So it's like, oh my God. I mean, I know my husband's older than me, but he also doesn't look like he's had a facelift like Whitney does because Whitney just looks a little, he did something to his face. So comment on it. Tell me if you think Whitney did something to his face. But I think Southern Charm's getting good. Not like devastatingly good, but I think the gang up on JT is what I like to see because I don't like JT anyway. We always need someone to feed to the wolves, like someone we don't really like. Like Brandy Glanville used to be that on Beverly Hills because it's like, oh, we don't want everyone to like yell at Kyle or LVP like back then. Now we're like, everyone yell at Kyle. We're like, yeah, Dorit, yell at Kyle. But back then it was Brandy. She was like the sacrificial lamb, and every show needs one, someone we just don't really like and care about. So that is JT. And I can't wait. He's going to sit down and have lunch with Madison, and she's basically going to mock him and make fun of him and be like, do you really think I would cheat on Brett with you? Have you seen my husband? Like everything just sounds so cutthroat with her accent too and her big hair and sunglasses. I mean, I don't think Madison would hook up with Austen again before ever even touching JT. Like spin the bottle challenge, JT, she wouldn't even do that. I mean, she literally would date Austen all over again instead of hooking up with JT. But we're going to take a quick little break and then we will get into some updated latest Bravo tea. Need a last minute holiday gift? Look no further than Acred Creative. Discover personalized gifts, distinctive decor, and must-have business essentials. Elevate your space or amplify your brand with their unique creations. Go to acredcreative.com and use my code BRAVOT10 to receive 10% off your order. That's ACREDCREATIVE. Again, that's acredcreative.com and use my code BRAVOT10 to receive 10% off. And we're back. So let's kick it off with an update of where we stand with the James Kennedy arrest. So it has now come out that he was arrested late in the morning after Kathy Hilton's Christmas party. And the police report said, so this is quotes from Allie, that her boyfriend lifted her off the ground and then shoved her to the ground. So She was saying before all that came out that this was all a misunderstanding. She's sticking by James. She went to a Windsor event. So that's like that clothing brand. Like a lot of the Bravo people, like Melissa Gorga's daughter always does it for like prom and homecoming. They have like dresses, but like more cheaper, like scale, but cute, like fast fashion, kind of like Forever 21 esque. And literally the next night, she went to a Windsor event, didn't mention it. Obviously, he wasn't there. So he was released on bail. So his bail was 20,000, but my husband said, somebody only probably had to post like a percent of it. So somebody probably posted, this is all just hypothetical numbers, but like $2,000 and bailed him out. Cause I was like, who do you think gave the 20,000? And he's like, well, it's probably just a percentage of the 20,000. So somebody bailed him out. He returned home where Allie stayed for a couple days. So this is my number one thing. If anything was that bad, why are you guys resuming under the same roof? Allie has tons of friends. I get that that house was definitely probably purchased in just James' name because they are not married. So it is his house. So obviously he is going to return to his house. But I am surprised that Allie stayed there because I would be a little scared and uneasy to stay there for the time being if this is all what really happened. But then the other day, he was seen moving her out temporarily to an Airbnb as the couple works through this. But they are still together romantically. They're just not going to physically reside under the same roof for a while. So her family's going to come in and visit and stay with her through this tough time, it said. But this is my thing. Are we seeing a whole nother Raquel like evolve before our eyes? I was really rooting for James, thinking he changed because some people can just be bad with certain people, or some people are just bad with everybody. So I was thinking, oh, okay, him and Kristen definitely volatile together, but he was like 23 years old, drinking, definitely probably doing some pasta, up his nose and all other sorts of stuff. And Kristen's like a crazy hothead. So they just didn't have a good relationship. So it was two of them. And then before with Raquel, we're seeing, oh, she's all nice. Oh, but James turns into an evil person when he drinks. Then he stops drinking. But then it was still like not working. But then we see that Raquel has a whole love affair with Tom Sandoval for 9 months. So we're thinking she's evil. And we're like, oh, she was the problem. And then James finally gets to Allie. Seems like a very sweet girl. They seem like they're having a wonderful life. He's DJing. He's sober. They have the dog back. She's picking up on her astrology. She read Kathy Hilton's astrological chart. She's doing her little girl song. Like she's getting into music, thinking everything's going great. And he even said, everything's going so good. So that means like, oh, I'm never ruining this and messing this up. I am so lucky to have these chances back because remember how many times he would cry on the show? Lisa, please, please don't do this, Lisa, please. I need to DJ see you next Tuesday, Lisa. I mean, he failed and fell on his face a lot on Vanderpump Rules. And then he was given other opportunities and other chances. And after a while, it's like, all right, you get like one more chance and then that's it. So I don't know how he's going to recover from this and rebound because it's negative for me. I'm very disappointed. I'm very upset. But then also whom I'm upset with is if Allie stays with him and all this did happen, I don't know. I mean, now I definitely do think that when Raquel said, oh, James bumped into my new nose job and we were trying to kiss and he messed it up. No, no. He was probably getting physical with her and all of that's starting to leak out. A close source said that that was like all fake. Like it was not like they were kissing and hugging. It was definite like domestic violence in the relationship. James hovered over Raquel during that doctor's appointment. The doctor felt very uneasy with James being in there, but he was hovering over her because he's like, I don't want you to tell him that I hurt you and that's why your nose is screwed up. I don't know what Allie's family is going to think because also it's like they can only help and do so much, but she's a grown woman. If she wants to stay with him, they're probably scared if all of this is, unraveling before their eyes. It's a lot to take in. I feel like there was a lot of Vanderpump drama this week. So then we have updated version on Tom Sandoval. So him and his kooky girlfriend, Victoria Lee Robertson, she took to her Instagram story a couple days ago and said, wow, you guys were right. Tiger never changes its stripes, and a leopard never changes its spots. But that's okay. This is like the same thing. He loves the best friends, apparently. I feel like a fool, completely heartbroken. All right, so we were obviously imagining all the things like, oh my God, who's he banging now? Like, what's with the best friends? And she's hot. I mean, if you guys don't know, she is a model. Creep on her Instagram. She is hot. I don't know who he would be cheating with, but it's just, we've seen their relationship get weird and volatile with that whole Billy Lee stuff last year. And so we know she's a little bit of a nutbag, and obviously we know Tom can be a nutbag. So then he goes on his Instagram stories and becomes a nutbag. And he's definitely on like a bender, having like a Coors Light and a cigarette at 5 a.m., which AKA means you didn't even go to sleep yet. Because I don't think you're having a full night beauty sleep and then waking up and ripping a cig and having a Coors Light. I think you just haven't even gone to sleep. And he's like, Victoria made a mistake. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so scary. Did you like murder her and put her in the backyard? So then after that, she goes on her Instagram story and says, I would like to sincerely apologize for my previous post. I had a true misjudgment in a situation. Tom did not do anything. From my own personal trauma and experiences, hearing false accusations about him all the time clouded my judgment and got the best of me. Please respect him and know he's actually been the most supportive partner. The internet can be harsh sometimes, and I'm learning how to block out the noise. I mean, can we say cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs? What is going on? What is with these Vanderpump Rules men that have a hypnotist hold on these women? Like, Allie, if James is pushing you to the ground and we now all know about it, leave. Victoria, if Tom is cheating on you with your best friend, or you even have an inclination that he is, because he probably is, because look what happened to Ariana, then why are you with him? I mean, you used to date Leonardo DiCaprio. You're on Tom and Ariana's bathroom wallpaper, as James said. Like, it's just wild. So wild. I mean, soon we could make a reality show of Tom, James, and Jax, and them just saying how much they've screwed up their lives. Like, literally, it could just be a tell-all of like how stupid they all are. I mean, apparently Victoria was going to be moving in with Tom soon. In him and Ariana's house, I don't know. I thought he was selling the house from what I had read before. I don't know. I mean, I think what these people don't get is that, like, we're not going to forget these things you're putting on the internet, or we're going to take screenshots of it. So that's what happened also. She had to make this secondary statement and say, oopsie, my fault, because we all had already screenshot it and made memes about it and put it on our blogs. So she had to do damage control. Like, these people need to understand we ain't missing a beat. There are so many accounts out there that anything weird that happens, we're recording it. We're not missing a beat. So I don't know what's going to happen with all that, but girl, run. If you're getting like a weird feeling that he's hooking up with your friend, he probably is, because like I said, look what he did to his long-term girlfriend. And him and this girl have only been dating like a year. So it's like, if he did it to Ariana, he'll definitely do it to you. I mean, hello. TMZ spotted Whitney in the airport, asked if she would be doing like a combined Christmas with Jack. She said, rotten hell. No, she didn't say that, but she is not. A little more Vanderpump scoop. So we got Lala confessing why she whitens Ocean's teeth in all her photos, because everybody was pretty much attacking her, saying she's so terrible, who does that to their toddler. I got to be honest, I don't retouch my photos at all. I maybe do like the brightness and that's it if I really feel like it. But the people that have time to do all this retouching is just wild. Like Teresa airbrushes her and Louie's face so much that they don't even have like noses sometimes. And then it looks like Louie is wearing like foundation. Like it's just weird. It's like, like we know you really don't look like that. And like how many hours are you spending doing all that? But Lala said she whitens Ocean's teeth because she was on a bike at Randall's house, fell off, hit her teeth, and now her teeth have turned gray. So if we didn't think Lala hated Randall before, whoo, she hates him now. She said that she whitens the teeth because she is vain. She just admitted it. She said, I am vain. I want to do it. I saw the picture. So then like that was a clip. And then under it, she posted like a picture of Ocean without the edited teeth. And they're like gray. It's sad. And I'm sure she like doesn't want Ocean to look back at her child pictures and be like, have freaking gray teeth. And I'm with you, Lala. I'll be vain with that too. If my kids fell off their bike and I hate my ex because he cheated on me and had like a call service, whatever with him, you're damn right I would be whitening the teeth too because she's probably so mad. Like I said to my husband, I went, oh my God, could you imagine how mad she was at Randall? Like she already hates him. Now this is just like, oh God, rotten hell. Let's see. We got any news? Shishi and Brock. Shishi called Tom Sandoval, FaceTimed him with Brock while he was doing his show, his stand-up that Christina the Bravo Babe was at. So we'll get all the details on the next episode of that. But it's like, Sheena, thought you didn't talk to Tom Sandoval. Guess you do. It's just interesting because none of them will have to fake anything because it doesn't matter because they're not going to be on TV together. So I wonder if Sheena really actually enjoys Tom's company because I think it's mean how she kind of forgot about Ariana. I think Ariana has forgotten about all of them except Katie, literally. And Katie said she wouldn't have come back on the show even if they didn't recast. And I do believe that. But also, who was missing Katie? I think I said that before. It's like, I don't hate her, but I would not have like cried myself to sleep if she was quitting the show. She wasn't really a heavy hitter anymore, especially since her and Tom were done. I think the key players were Tom, other Tom, Lala, and Sheena, to be honest, like that were always concerned about keeping the show moving. I think it was really the four of them. Katie and Ariana weren't concerned about the show moving forward. They just weren't. James too. I mean, he was busy DJing, but like obviously James naturally did his part. But I'll tell you what, this is when I wish cameras were up for Vanderpump. We'd be getting Tom Sandoval and the kooky girlfriend. We'd be getting James and this whole arrest. And then you know who we would probably not be getting, but they would be talking about it? Kooky Joe is back on the internet being like, oh, I was approached through the Valley, but I said no. It's like, sure, Jan. Okay. No, you weren't. Why would you be on the Valley? You're not friends with any of those people. I mean, right? And the Valley is like, I'm married and or I have a child. So you are not married and you do not have a child. You are a child, but you do not have a child. I mean, has Schwartz gotten a restraining order against her yet? Because she's freaking weird, man. Like she was just like, and let's all start a petition to have Schwartzy unblock me so we could just like kick it and talk. All right, bye. It's like, I'm sure Schwartz not only does not want to unblock you, but I'm sure his girlfriend does not want you unblocked. Does Schwartz still have a girlfriend? Wait, you know what? Before we leave each other, I got to Google that real quick. Tom Schwartz, girlfriend, let's say. Oh, yeah. Well, this was October, but it said Tom Schwartz, 42nd birthday with girlfriend. Oh, it said no. Yeah. I guess they're still together. I feel like I don't really like see his Instagram either. It doesn't really pop up. Probably because he's behaving and being normal. Unlike Tom Sandoval, Jax, James, they're the ones that are really like flooding. That's why like I don't really see Brock's stuff that much. But today I did see it. It was like, G'day, legends. Want to decorate the outside of me and Shayna's house for the first time. I don't know what I just did with that accent. I did like 5 different accents at once. I was trying to do his Australian accent, but Brock for HGTV, like, I feel like he would be good. He's basically could build a house, I think, with his bare hands. They should have just bought an empty property because he's really good at doing all the home remodeling stuff around their house. He's great. You could come here any day, Brock. Hang all my decorations outside. I don't want to do that stuff. But I feel like that's it for the Bravo tea. So on my next one, like I said, I will have Donna Bowling on my next episode. And then, okay, so that's why I mixed up. So I'll have Donna Bowling on my next episode. We're going to just talk about all things. And then on my episode after that, my little bonus episode, it'll be the Bravo check-in with the Bravo babe and me. And I'm so excited for that. And then it'll be Christmas. So maybe I will try to squeeze a recap in, or maybe we will just wait and like combine a lot after. Maybe I'll get my husband to come recap recap. But I hope everybody has an amazing week prepping for Christmas. Has anyone bought the Sprinkle by MG? I mean, not to like shit on the sprinkle cookies by Melissa Gore because they do look delicious. I don't know about everyone else, but over here I make my own cookies. I don't buy cookies. I just handed out half my trays today. Everyone's like, oh my God, thank you so much. But now I'm going to be fat, but I love you and thank you. So I would like to buy the sprinkle cookies just to see and get the package and whatnot. But I make my own cookies and disappointed that I feel like her and Teresa do not. They need to get back to their old ways, even though I feel like Melissa never homemade the cookies. That was the problem. She went to an Italian bakery and bought sprinkle cookies and not pinoli cookies, which I don't really know how many people like pinoli cookies. Like as Joe Judice said back then, I don't even like them. They're dry with those pine nuts, which they are. I've made them before. They're not the best. She just didn't want to like the buttered sprinkle cookies because the ones Melissa is selling are good and they are at Italian bakeries. So I don't know why Teresa was acting like she brought like shit that isn't sold at a bakery that other people have probably bought to her home. But let me know in the comments too what you guys bake or any recipes special that you bust out this time of year. As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify, and Apple. Till next time, see ya.